What if your spiritual path wasn't something that was far away, but something that you practiced every single day through your actions, through your self-awareness, and through your ability to let go? Welcome to your Monday message. I am Dharma Shakti, your host with your weekly dose of something inspirational. I am a yoga teacher and an empowerment coach, and my specialty is fusing personal development with spiritual development so that we can grow on the path as we are also developing who we are in these human bodies. Today's teaching comes from Patanjali's Yoga Sūtras and a verse that outlines the foundation of transformational action. A phrase that I like to remind my students and my coaching clients often is, maybe write this one down, transformation requires application. It's not enough to just listen and take things in and be like, oh, that's a great theology or philosophy, and I agree with that, I subscribe to that, or I align with that. We have to put it into play. We have to apply it. And in that application is where the transformation happens. And this verse is Patanjali touching on this idea. Today we're going to talk about chapter 2, verse 1. Tapaḥ Svādhyāya Īśvarapraṇidhāna Kriyā Yoga. This verse means discipline and self-study and surrender to divinity. This is the path of Kriyā Yoga. I'm going to break this down for you. Stay with me, especially for my yoga geeks out there. I'm going to break down the Sanskrit for you and unpack this verse. So let's get into it. All right, I know I got some yoga teachers and yoga enthusiasts out there watching these videos. So for those of you that would like to practice the Sanskrit, repeat the verse with me out loud. Traditionally, this is how yogis would learn these sacred texts. So you can just repeat the Sanskrit after me. Tapaḥ Svādhyāya Īśvarapraṇidhāna Kriyā Yoga. All right, let's break it down word by word. The first word is tapa or tapas. This means discipline, inner heat, and committed effort. On a general sense, this word means discipline. In a much more literal translation, tapas means to cook, right? To put something in the fire and to heat it up. And in that putting it over the fire and it heating up, whatever you put in there is transformed. And so tapas or tapa is the practice of doing physical things that are difficult for us but are good for us. It's going to create an inner heat, either a physical heat or a mental heat. It kind of lights that fire within us, or it stokes a fire within us, and through that fire, we are burning out impurities, physical impurities, emotional impurities, energetic impurities, and yes, even our karma. Next, we have Svādhyāya. Svādhyāya. Svādhyāya means self-study and study of scriptures, sacred texts, and reflection. So self-study, not like studying your face in the mirror, but through the wisdom and philosophy of sacred wisdom texts, ancient wisdom philosophy, through those studies, right, those teachings that help us learn the nature of who we are, the nature of source and our relationship to source, the nature of the material world and our relationship to that material world. Any body of work, any ancient wisdom philosophy text that is going to help you study and understand yourself more is Svādhyāya. It's also really reflecting on what you're learning and studying yourself as you're applying the things that you're learning. You're studying, like, how am I showing up with my ego here? Let me really unpack that. Let me study myself. Next word in this verse, Īśvarapraṇidhāna. It's actually made up of 3 words. Īśvara, which means divinity. It's a very sort of broad term for divinity. And prana, right, your life force, and dana. Dana is to give. So Īśvarapraṇidhāna. Put these words together, and we translate that to surrender to divinity. But it really, if you break down these words, Īśvarapraṇidhāna, Īśvarapraṇidhāna, it means to offer up your life force, offer up your energy, offer up your presence, offer up your essence to divinity, right? To offer it up. So in simple terms, it means to surrender to divinity. We're not in control. We're just not in control. We definitely have free will, and there are things that we are in control of, but there are a lot of things that we're not in control of, according to yogic philosophy. So we have to surrender. We have to learn to surrender. This is one of the ways that we can apply ourselves to our day-to-day life, where we will have transformation if we can practice these things. And then the last two words, Kriyā Yoga. Kriya comes from the root word kri, like where we get the word karma, kri. It means action. So Kriyā Yoga. So this 3-part process is the yoga of action. Right? There is the part of yoga where it's more meditative, like we're meditating. That's the practice. But then how are we in action with our yoga? Outside of the practice, how are we taking action in our lives? And Patanjali is offering this next avenue, or this next pathway in our practice outside of what we do on our mats. Okay, outside of sitting and meditating, which was Patanjali's original offer of, what he says to be practice, which is to sit and meditate, right? So Kriyā Yoga is really the yoga of doing. It's not just thinking or meditating. It's not sitting around philosophizing and pontificating and debating, but it's really about how we live our practice through aligned action, self-honesty, and spiritual trust. It's basically what we do when we're off the mat. Great, so I want to give you 5 main points, as I am doing with most of these videos, to just really break it down in like a succinct, clear, bite-sized chunk for you to begin to apply these things, because it's so important that we apply them. So point number 1, discipline builds your inner fire. Tapa isn't punishment, right? Tapas and discipline isn't punishment. A lot of us associate this word discipline with punishment, right? When we were kids, we would get out of line and we would get disciplined. And so we like in our subconscious associate these difficult things with punishment. That's why when you get on your mat and the teacher is offering you a difficult physical practice, or maybe it's too slow a practice, you think the teacher is punishing you, but they're not. Right? They're holding the container for tapas. Tapa is not punishment. It's choosing discomfort that leads to growth. Like waking up early to meditate, or showing up to difficult conversations with integrity. Doing the uncomfortable things, not because you have to, not because somebody said you should, but because leaning into those difficulties is what refines us and makes us grow. Challenges are what change us, and tapas is leaning into those challenges. That doesn't mean we should do all difficult things in front of us. We need to use discernment to understand, right? Kind of going back on my last video, we talked about pragya, this wisdom, like the discernment of which difficult things are the ones that we should be doing right now. It does not mean you have to do all difficult things, but it does mean that we don't shy away from the difficult things that are going to result in our growth. All right, point number 2, self-study or Svādhyāya is the mirror. It's not just about reading sacred text. It's about asking, what am I learning about myself right now? And staying curious rather than critical. So sometimes when we learn these philosophies, we learn these really amazing concepts, we tend to kind of apply it out to other people because that's easier. But Svādhyāya is really applying and reflecting, how am I showing up with these ideologies? How am I showing up with these values? How am I showing up, and how am I leaning into these concepts that I'm learning? So it's as much study as it is self-reflection, as it is like self-awareness and self-application. And then we have surrender. Good old surrender. Surrender is active trust. It's not a giving up. It's not a waving the white flag because, you're going to be taken captive by some other force. It's really active trust. It's such a great way to explain it. Active trust. Letting go isn't passive. It's a bold choice to trust what you cannot control while you're doing your part wholeheartedly. I'm going to say that again because I think it's a really important point and I want it to land, okay? Surrender is active trust. Īśvarapraṇidhāna. Letting go isn't passive. It's not giving up and saying, well, I'm not in any control, so la-di-da. It's not like that. It's a bold choice to trust what you can't control, while also doing your part to show up and to lean in and be you and walk in integrity wholeheartedly. Kriyā Yoga. Kriyā Yoga is yoga in motion, yoga in action. It's less about what you believe and more about how you live. Kriyā Yoga isn't so much about what you believe. There's lots of people who believe, I'm trying to choose my words wisely here. There's lots of people who believe that because they go to a church building on Sunday and they believe in that Savior, that means that they're a good person. But they may not be applying and living the values of the person that they're worshiping, the being that they say they worship, the philosophies that that person propagated that they say they subscribe to. I hope you get my drift. I'm not saying that that's limited to one tradition only. Kriyā Yoga is yoga in motion, yoga in action. You're putting it into play. It's less about what you believe and more about how you live. You can believe it all day long, but if it's not actually being applied to your life, you're not putting it into action. If you believe in kindness, you believe in goodness, but you're not showing up a kindness where it matters, to the people that love you or to the people that need your kindness, then you're not applying what you say you believe. So the application is super important here. Right? This brings spiritual practice into the way that you parent, the way that you work, the way that you speak, and the way that you rest, the way that you take care of yourself, the way you show up for yourself, the way you show up for others, the way you show up in the world. And these three create sustainable transformation. These three, Tapaḥ, Svādhyāya, and Īśvarapraṇidhāna. So Tapaḥ gives you structure, Svādhyāya gives you awareness, and Īśvarapraṇidhāna gives you peace. Together, they support real change from the inside out. Okay, so how do we apply this to our modern day lives? This is really important for me that you feel like you have a takeaway, like how do I take this ancient wisdom and apply it to my modern day life? You're already practicing Kriyā Yoga when you do these things. Show up for daily meditation, Tapaḥ. You show up for your regular yoga classes, Tapaḥ. You're going to the gym regularly. You're, staying committed to a health regimen that's very important for you. You are, going for your walk every day. That's all Tapaḥ, right? You're staying committed to this routine practice. Okay, journal honestly about your emotions. If you're journaling and you're writing about your emotions and you're being real with yourself about how you feel, holding space for that, but in your journaling, it's allowing you to self-reflect and be self-aware of what you're holding internally. That's Svādhyāya. So if you have a journaling practice, you're doing Svādhyāya. And letting go of what isn't yours to carry. This is really, really important. Letting go of what is not yours to carry. Are you carrying other people's problems? Are you carrying other people's burdens? Are you carrying other people's insecurities? Are you carrying things that are not yours? Okay, let go of what is not yours to carry. Īśvarapraṇidhāna. These teachings live in your everyday actions and not just on the mat and not just on the meditation cushion. So here are some really great reflective questions that you can ponder, that you can ask yourself, and actually do some Svādhyāya here today to help you connect deeper with where you're at on your path and how you are or aren't applying these things, how you can refine them or do them better or take them deeper. So what area of your life needs more structure or follow through? This would be Tapaḥ. What area of your life needs more structure or follow through? You said you were going to do it and you show up to do it. Next question is, what truth might be revealed through honest reflection? Like if I actually sat and kind of like let myself go deeper than what's on the surface and You know, what truth might be revealed through honest reflection? What about this makes me so upset? What about this makes me so sad? What about this makes me triggered? What about this makes me excited? What about this lights me up? What truth might be revealed through honest reflection? This is Svādhyāya. And next question you can ask yourself is, where might surrender open up ease or clarity for me? Ask yourself this. Where might surrender, if I were to apply surrender to that situation, where might it open up ease or clarity? This would be Īśvarapraṇidhāna. And remember, my friends, my sweet, sweet life warriors out there fighting that good fight, please be gentle. This is about awareness and not perfection. Let your writing lead you to your next step, not your final destination. Right? So if you're journaling these out, you're writing out these answers, please, please let your writing lead you to your next best step and not necessarily your final destination. Be gentle, be kind, be radically honest, but also as you do so, be tender with yourself. If this message resonates with you, you can scroll down below this video in the description box and you will find some deeper journaling prompts to help you reflect further on how you can apply Kriyā Yoga in your day-to-day life so that you can begin to apply these practices and concepts in order to experience and achieve transformation in your life. I like to tell students often, if your yoga practice is not changing your life, you're just doing exercise. Yoga should be changing your life. It should be changing the way you are living your life, the way that you're looking at your life, and the way that you are applying yourself to your life. And I'm so glad that you're here so that we can start to do this good work, because you deserve all the transformation that yoga has to offer you. And if somebody in your life is navigating a season of change, share this message with them. These 3 practices may be exactly what they need to hear and to apply right now to support their process of change. And I'll leave you with this last closing thought. Real yoga isn't about doing more. It's about doing what matters with heart. Kriyā Yoga calls us to live with intention, humility, and devotion. And that's where transformation really truly begins. Thank you so much for joining me. It's such an honor to be here with you and share in this beautiful wisdom. I love these teachings of Patanjali and his Yoga Sūtras. I'm so honored to be here and diving into this content and this material with you. I hope that you like these new approaches to my Monday messages. If you're enjoying them, please hit the like button. Remember to subscribe so you get notified when my next video is out. These will be coming out every Monday. You'll get your Monday message, and hopefully you'll start applying the yogic wisdom to your life and see the change begin to take place. Sending you so much love from my heart to yours. Until I see you next time, happy Monday and many blessings to you in this week. Namaste.